Okay, so here we are. It's the lead up to State Marching Band Finals, or the lead up to the first week of State Marching Band Finals. So a busy week for all of us, I'm sure, especially those performing this week. This week I sent out emails to whatever principal email address was in your marching band profile. And in that email was an invitation to State Marching Band Finals, as well as essentially 2 free tickets and a parking pass as well. So that went out. As you can imagine, out of 124, there were some bounce backs because the email was entered wrong, not by me, but by you as a director. So kind of keep that in mind. If your principal says they didn't get it, reach out to me and I can fix that. Maybe you have 7 principals at your school. I can't set up all 7 of them, but certainly I can give out a few extra passes in situations like that, or for a superintendent. We love to have administrators come and support your program and see what we do. So just reach out if that's a problem, or if they didn't go through, or if I can help in any way. For both weekends of State Marching Band Finals, but specifically this weekend, especially at Hilliard and Piqua, obviously parking is always at a premium, especially at the Hilliard site. So kind of keep that in mind as you're planning your schedule. I want you to have plenty of time on the front and back end to get set, have your kids ready to perform, but don't needlessly pad that time, especially the arrival time, if you don't mind. Certainly my parking crews always get a little flustered when a band doesn't play for 3 hours and their semi show up that far in advance. So kind of keep that in mind. And obviously on the flip side of that, make sure your kids stay and enjoy the atmosphere of State Marching Band Finals and buy some souvenirs. But the sooner you can clear out of the lot, it helps us out for sure. My parking guys, when I walk out, are always a little frustrated when they've got a band that's been there for a while and is taking up 4 or 5 acres of real estate. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll make it work, but it's always going to be a little tight on that first weekend, just because of the logistics of the site and specifically how many AA bands are at Hilliard this weekend. Also on the subject of state, and of course we're almost in November here, so looks like weather's going to be good this weekend, but rain, of course, we've all dealt with. High winds can be an issue, and this is true at any local event, but keep in mind the event chair, and in that case that's Heather and I at State Marching Band Finals, has the responsibility if winds become an issue to restrict props. If that happens, you'll be notified via CS, the mass messaging system we have built in through Competition Suite. A message will just pop up on your phone. It won't be inside the CS app, and we'll let you know that props are now restricted. In that situation, if you've got low props, they're probably okay. Think about maybe a low structure that students stand on or something like that. Certainly the big, large screens that many bands use backfield, obviously those are going to be a no-go immediately. But if you think you have a prop that probably is safe in the weather, text me back. I mean, I'm willing to kind of to work with folks. And when this happened in Medina a few years ago, we absolutely did. We had folks that use props because they were safe in the wind, and obviously some aren't. So kind of be thinking about that. Maybe even if you look at the weather, especially not this weekend, but next weekend, if the weather takes a turn for the worst of the forecast, maybe plan ahead, even do a little rehearsing with a different setup if you need to, just so your kids are prepared. I know my show this year, we have this really big 60 by 40 foot flag at the end. And from our rehearsals, I know that over 11 miles an hour, it's not feasible. I don't think my guard girls can hang on to it. So we know for us, we have 2 endings. We have the windy ending where the flag doesn't go, and it works. And we have the big ending that we hope to get to do. So kind of plan ahead if you're really dependent on props, maybe have a backup plan in place. And last thing, I've gotten a few questions just in the lead up to State Marching Band Finals about how class works. Especially bands that choose to march in a different class throughout the season. What are they allowed to do at State Marching Band Finals? I realize it's moot now because everyone's registered, but just so everybody is aware of how this works. Let's say I'm a Class B band and I participate in Class A throughout the regular season. Maybe I qualify for state in Class A. I can still perform in Class B if that's my actual band size. There's no restriction. Some folks think that, if I qualify in A, I have to perform in A. And that's not the case. If you're marching in a different class than your band, your school size dictates, you can return to your native class, so to speak, for State Marching Band Finals. There's no restrictions on that. And if you look over the State Marching Band Final schedule, you'll see a few bands that maybe you've seen all year in Class B or something else, and maybe are marching in Class C at state, and that's permissible, whatever they feel is best for their program and fits their needs. So that's the end of this update. As always, reach out to me if there's any questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing some great performances this weekend. Best of luck for those of you who are rehearsing for this weekend, and of course, looking ahead to the second weekend of State Marching Band Finals as well. See you soon.